Hi everyone. Now that we've covered the basics and we've looked at some of the tools that are available out there, now we're going to start looking at what processes can we automate using these tools. Now this is going to be different for every industry, so I'm going to try and cover some of the processes that are probably most common across a lot of industries. So first of all, we got to start thinking in the correct way about automation. So first of all, we got to think about what makes a good automation candidate. Well, some high value automation tasks are going to be things that are repetitive and time consuming. Some things that follow predictable patterns, they're going to be easy to automate. They don't require complex human judgment and generate significant time savings. And then obviously they have low risks if there's errors that occur. Some automation candidates that would not be good candidates for automation would be tasks that require nuanced human judgment, or if there's high stakes decisions like medical decisions or financial decisions. If they're unique one-off situations, then you wouldn't really, that wouldn't require automation. If you require personal relationships, then obviously you can't automate that. And if there needs to be a physical presence, then at least where we are now, we can't automate that. So there's a good 80-20 rule for AI automation. And we want to keep, try and remember this rule as we go through looking at all of the different things that we can automate. So humans provide critical 20% and AI can handle 80% of routine tasks. Okay, so the humans, 80% is the heavy lifting, but humans have to provide that 20% guidance and judgment, verification. So the goal really is to augment human capability and not to replace it. So these are productivity tools. If your process is not a good process in the first place, then this is just going to basically put that process on steroids. So it's really going to augment what you're doing. It's not going to replace what you're doing. So how do we identify some opportunities within the organization that could be good candidates for automation? First thing to do is to track your time for 1 week. Try and note what tasks do you do repeatedly, which tasks feel mechanical, and what takes time but doesn't require deep expertise. So maybe it might be searching through a document for something, or extracting information from a document. Something like that will not take a lot of expertise. You're just looking for a certain pattern, and it can be monotonous and time consuming. So that could be a good opportunity for automating that, for example. You want to categorize your tasks then into different classes, whether it's communication, content creation, data processing, research, or admin. So your communication might be things like your emails, your messages, that type of data. Then your content creation might be your presentations, your reports, some writing of any kind at all, whether that is social media posts or whatever. Data processing, analysis and summarization, formatting of your data. So once you have all of your tasks categorized into these different categories, then it's going to be much easier to identify where you can start to automate some of these tasks. So the first thing, track your time, and how long do you spend on each of these tasks, and then put all of the tasks that you do during the week into certain buckets, and then you prioritize by the impact. So the impact formula can be something as simple as time saved by frequency. So the frequency, how often are you doing this task, by how much have you saved using AI, and that will be your total impact. So you want to consider quality improvements, not just speed. So factor in learning curve and setup time and things like that. Okay. So some good questions to ask for each task is, does this follow a template or a pattern? If it does, then that's a good candidate for AI. Do I need specialized knowledge to do this? That's kind of borderline. What AI might be able to help you, but again, you're going to have to you're going to have to be careful in how you use it and review everything that it tells you. Would a mistake here have serious consequences? If the answer to that is yes, then keep a human in the loop. Okay, there's no you can't automate a task where a mistake could have serious consequences. Okay, there's legal issues and ethical issues there. And then how much time would I save weekly? So calculate your return on your investment. If you're only saving maybe 1 hour a week, then maybe it's not worth putting the time in. But if you're saving maybe 10 hours a week, then that's going to be a motivation to continue on.